Hello, welcome to Joy in Our Town. We have a very lovely guest with us today. And before we start our chat, we have a little something to show you.
Reconciliation Outreach was founded in 1986 by Dorothy Moore. It began as a youth outreach in the inner city and has grown into a multifaceted organization that serves the poor and the needy. Reconciliation Outreach is still located where it began, in the heart of Old East Dallas. Through our mission, vision, and values, we strive to establish a foundation for children, give second chances to adults, and provide a safe place for families during transition.
The Oasis House is a one-year residential program for women who have battled with life-controlling issues. The programs provide a supportive and therapeutic environment in which they can heal, grow, and overcome their problems.
The Alpha program is a 12-month season designed to create a lifestyle of devotion and discipleship for our men. The environment for our Alpha program is a spirit-filled environment where our men can heal and discover who they are, get free from bondages and mindsets that have kept them bound.
Project 510 is our youth outreach division here at Reconciliation Outreach. So as the school year begins and the summer ends, we have 2 weekly activities for the teenagers in our neighborhood. And first is what we call Monday Night Club. That's our Monday night basketball activity. At 7:30 each Monday, we take a break from the games and we have a devotional time where someone shares something from the scripture and then we pray together. The Thursday night Bible study is for middle school and high school students who want to continue to be part of the ministry during the school year, not just during the summer. Around 7:40, we study through a gospel passage and we have a discussion on how that translates over into our community context here in East Dallas.
The goal of Initiative 23 is to share the gospel in a practical way. We pick the children up from their schools and bring them back to our youth center. And then during our transition from play to our homework time, we have a short Bible study or character development with the teachers and their groups at the tables. And then we get right into the homework.
Whether it's our men's home or our women's home or our after-school program or our youth program, we're going to continue to keep the doors open and transform lives with the gospel, one person at a time.
Ah, that's great. Thank you so much, Reverend Moore, for being here today.
Thank you for asking.
Will you share with us how you came up with the name Reconciliation?
A long time ago, I felt that there was a need for something in the inner city that began to open people's hearts back. There was a lot of anger, a lot of bitterness, and a lot of pain. And Reconciliation Outreach was designed to do what the gospel says, which you bring them to Him and He's not the judge, and I'm not the judge of what you're doing or how you behave. I'm there to lead you to Him and to help you find a new way to live. And that's really been the simple way we've kept it, because we do all the things that you do in any inner city mission. But the purpose of what we do is to give them that new life that can really only come through Christ.
I love how you say it's simple. You keep it simple. We can overcomplicate it sometimes when we're trying to reach people who we see are struggling or having a difficult time in life. Why is it important to keep the message simple?
I think all of us are just overwhelmed. There's too many messages out there and there's too much stress. The kids just need to know that the Lord loves them and they need to learn to love Him back. And when they find that, then their life begins to straighten out. And the whole business of racial reconciliation and gender reconciliation and all of those things, they come by themselves when somebody lays down that hatchet and decides, I can't fix this, but I can be part of the healing process for everybody.
Ah, that's beautiful. And it starts with just loving one another.
It does.
We want to see more of that. Take a look.
I want to be a lawyer when I grow up.
I want to be a teacher or a doctor.
I want to be a lawyer when I grow up.
I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I'm gonna growing up, I'm gonna be a firefighter. A doctor. A Marine. A police. The people that do science.
And you just get to a point to where you don't want to live anymore. You just don't care. You hate yourself. You hate everybody. You blame everybody and everything for what's going on in your life. This place, when we first got here, it was bad. I mean, it was really, really bad. The police used to ride here 3 or 4 cars deep. Shootings, muggings, killings.
And we would worship the Lord, and I'd look at these tough teenagers that looked like they were ready to kill somebody. And as we would sing and we worship the Lord, some of the boys would have tears in their eyes.
When I was 13, 14, where Dorothy was caught in the middle of a crossfire. And you know, all of us saying, oh, Dorothy's not coming back, Dorothy's not coming back. To our surprise, she came back the next week. Dorothy was the only stable thing that we ever knew as children. Everything in our lives was just revolving. Sometimes our parents were there, sometimes they were not. People would come in and out of our lives. But the only thing that we knew that we could trust is that Dorothy would be there on Thursday night.
15 years ago, I used to come over here and I used to score, and all those places are cleaned up now. And a lot of those places are cleaned up because Dorothy Moore, who founded the ministry, came down here and believed God and stood up to some of the people. Reconciliation Outreach, they help you restore lives and restore families. They offer a place for your children to go to after school. We pick them up. There is no other place like it. We take care of them from when they're little until they're, grown.
You've got a bunch of kids that only alternative is gang life, and you multiply the gang life to destroy a city.
We get to look at our children and know that that cycle has been broken. And it don't just give us hope for ourselves, but now all of a sudden we have hope and freedom for our children.
Somebody took the time when I was 13 years old to invest in me. And because of that, I am who I am today. That despite of all the obstacles, they taught me how to have courage in the face of adversity. And so now I'm able to touch people all over the world because somebody took the time to believe in me.
See, we're not about just helping people that are poor, giving them a place to live. We're not just about giving them some food to eat or a pillow to lay their head on. We really believe that if we can change one life, that we literally can change this city.
It's never too late, that you may not be able to change where you have been, but you can change where you're going with the help of God and organizations such as Reconciliation Outreach.
Watching that, oh my goodness, it's touched my heart to see all those babies, see all those faces, and then to hear the young man at the end talk about the cycle being changed in his life. And then seeing the tent under the bridge, it makes me think, that's somebody's baby. That's somebody's child. And if we just all saw the homeless community that way, how different things might be. Talk to me about breaking that cycle, because there's such power in that. How do you go about breaking that cycle and the mentality of what they've grown up believing is true and normal when we know it's not?
A long time ago, I had a picture of, when I first learned what the hood was, I wrote that book called Lady in the Hood, and the kids always talked about the hood, and I said, what happened to the neighbor in the hood? And they said, we left him out. And I said, let's put him back. So we just began to restore the neighbor into the hood, and kids began to respond to the stability and the love, and it didn't change. I mean, it was there the next day and the day after that, and sometimes just that consistency and stability gives them what they don't have. And they can be angry, and some of them stay angry, but the ones who figure it out say, well, maybe I can be part of the answer instead of part of the problem.
I love that. What happened to the neighbor in the hood? Oh my goodness. We have something else for them to watch. Take a look.
Yeah, our values are start with grace, extending grace to people of all different walks. Discipleship, we value discipleship over just someone knowing about God. transformation. We want to see people's lives transformed. Restore hope. We believe everyone had hope at once, but to restore hope. Honor, as we honor those that God brings to us and we have honoring relationships together. Compassion and reconciliation.
The mission of Initiative 23 is that we provide a safe, loving environment for elementary-aged children in after-school and summer camp. For me, as the director of our children's ministry, it has impacted me greatly.
Before I got here, my life was a wreck. I was involved in drugs. One day in April of 2009, I just got tired of living that life and cried out to God. And now I'm learning to steward men's lives and to just impart what I'm learning in the Lord. And I like to turn their perspective toward the Lord and shift their mind off of themselves, off of their issues, and onto Him, onto a heavenly perspective.
I've struggled with addiction for 10 years, so I was a heroin addict since I was 13. I finally decided I had to totally change everything about the way I lived or I was gonna die. Well, when I got to the Oasis House, which is the women's home, I totally fell in love with the people, or the community. And when I got into the women's house, they just loved me. As broken as I was, they just loved me. And it really changed everything for me.
Before I come to RO, I was hopeless, I was careless. You know, I didn't know what love was, real love was. And after RO, man, this stuff that I learned through the classes and through the mentorships, it really has helped me change my life.
Wow, the power of faith-based ministry right there.
Yes, ma'am.
Love, hope, Jesus. I mean, just hearing the stories, it shares with all of us the impact that just sharing the love of Christ makes in somebody's life. It's really beautiful. If you could imagine what reconciliation outreach would look like in the future, what would you like to see?
I'm excited about a lot of things I'm already seeing. We're getting the younger generation deeply involved, which is thrilling to me. I mean, I'm a little old lady that's not going to be here forever, and I thought, oh Lord, is there going to be a continuation? And not only that, but it's exploding with young people, with high school, with the ages that need to be there, that get it now and want to make a difference. And so our tomorrows are just looking very hopeful. We're seeing a lot of growth in South Dallas. We've got a little lot down there. We're going to have some fun with growing a veggie garden. And the neighborhood kids in one of the elementary schools that's close by, and a lady friend of mine who used to be the head of the juvenile department's education, we're working together to try to just begin a little footprint. We've got the local fire department across the way, and they're coming over and helping us, and it's just a team effort to put that back, what we've lost. It really is the neighborhood. And as it becomes that again, people are drawn back to the things that made it work in the beginning.
Reverend Dorothy Moore, thank you for teaching us how to put the neighbor back in neighborhood. Thank you for what you're doing through Reconciliation Ministries, and I hope to be like you when I grow up. Thank you so much.
I think you're already well on the way. Thank you for having me.
You're such a blessing. Thank you all for watching us here at Joy in Our Town.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
The torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans.
The American dream need not forever be deferred.
This is the richest and the most powerful country.
Hello, welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm Sherry Duckworth. We have a lovely show for you today. Take a look at this.
I became homeless with a family breakup.
Everything was going okay in my life, it seemed, one day. And all of a sudden, they stopped going okay.
The reason we're in here is because I lost my job.
Eventually, I got evicted.
Before I was homeless,
I looked on it as a problem that I would never encounter, something that would never happen to me.
Someone who is in a homeless situation is in a situation. It does not define who they are or what kind of person they are.
I have to tell you, when I arrived, I was new in my congregation. I didn't know who the guests were and who the volunteers from the congregation were.
It breaks your heart to see that a hardworking family could actually end up in a situation like this.
I am always surprised at how loving and open and friendly these people are.
It's a great opportunity for hands-on outreach. You don't have to go on a mission trip to do this.
We get just as much, if not more, out of it than the people that we're trying to help. It's just a wonderful feeling.
Today, with our show, we have Terry Petty joining us from Family Promise of Irving. Thank you for being here, Terry.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, you all are an emergency service. Talk to us about that and help us understand what we saw there on the video this morning.
We are an emergency service in that we serve families with children that are in a homeless situation. And we're not the emergency service where you can call and say, I don't have a place to sleep tonight. Can you come? We do require some interviewing and intake. We want to make sure that our churches and our guests and families that you're living with are all safe. So we ask you to come in for an interview. We want you to have a history of some stability in housing and in work, because we're a short-term solution for families that are living paycheck to paycheck. And as you saw in the video, things happen that cause families not to be able to pay for housing, and they get into a situation. They're not homeless people. There are people in a situation that has caused them to be without a home.
Yeah, I like how she said in there, these are hard-working families who have gotten into a situation.
It's amazing the challenges that these families that come to us have to go through to find jobs, affordable housing, childcare.
Yeah, and we obviously, don't consider the fact that these whole families are all affected. So an entire family needs to find shelter. An entire family has to find somewhere to live. And so the beauty of what you all do is that the family gets to stay together.
Exactly. In a traditional shelter, when a child gets to be a certain age, there is the possibility that they're going to split the family up between male and female. So we do keep the families together.
I think that's really important. There's a lot of times where they're afraid to reach out for help because they're afraid of being separated.
Exactly.
Like you mentioned, a lot of shelters will do that. So I think it's really nice that they have a place that they can go where they know that as a family, they're going through this difficult time right now, that they don't have to add more difficulty to it by having the separation anxiety, especially with children. That makes it so much more difficult.
A lot of people just are afraid to reach out because of that.
Yeah, most definitely. So it's great that hopefully families watching today, if they need assistance, they know they can reach out. We have a little bit more on that.
The Interfaith Hospitality Network gives congregations the opportunity to create an innovative local response to family homelessness.
The people coming in and spending their time with us and cooking the meals for us have been a great help.
Often when we talk about a program like this, we think about, I'm an awfully busy person, I've got a lot of things to do. So when I tell people about why they might want to be part of Family Promise, I'll talk about how it's a chance to live out your faith. On Sunday mornings and in other contexts, we talk a lot about serving God. This is a way you can actually do it.
I think that IAHN takes a big responsibility in these people's lives. So for me to do my little part that I can make a dinner, come, spend some time with people, feed them, is wonderful. So I feel like it's a minimal effort for such an enormous return.
Every congregation only hosts about 4 or 5 times a year. That makes an easy job to volunteer for. Once people do it, they really love it, and they want to keep doing it.
What's so wonderful about the program that it involves so many people? I think it's one of the best outreach programs a church or synagogue can have.
You can see how much it means by the outpouring of volunteers, people making food, people coming to have fellowship with the families that are visiting. It's a way that we all kind of band together for a really good purpose.
People are compassionate. They want to make a difference. They don't always know how. And so IHN provides a way for people to address a major social issue and make a huge impact in the lives of families right within the walls of their own house of worship.
They're friendly. They're giving us the support that we need to keep doing what we have to do to stand on our own feet. Guess what?
What?
I'm gonna start working tomorrow.
Woohoo! Now I'm gonna now I'm gonna go to my new house.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the new house soon.
I'm proud of you, Daddy.
Oh, thank you.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too.
That is precious. I'm so proud of you, Daddy.
I cannot watch that without tearing up.
Oh my goodness. And he gets excited and says we're going to get to go to our new house.
Right.
Oh, it just makes you grateful so much for what you have.
It does.
And of course, it's wonderful to see the volunteers who come in to help. They have so many lovely things to say about helping. Talk to us about being connected to your organization. How do the families get connected? How do they qualify? And also the volunteers, how do they qualify?
Well, to get connected, there's several ways. You can go on our website and email us. We are in partnership with our local school districts. So we really believe that the teachers and counselors are the boots on the ground that might identify families that wouldn't know about the social services. We are in collaboration with other nonprofits here in Irving, so you can get connected there. On our website, you can get our telephone number, and it starts with a telephone call. We want to know the basics. Are you in crisis? Are you homeless? Can you pass a criminal background check and a drug screen? Because we do want to, because the families are in the churches, we want to be safe, and they're living in community with each other. They want them to be safe. And then we invite them, based on that, to come in for a personal interview. And we're a short-term program. We ask for a 30-day commitment. That way we can make sure that you're safe, that you're connected to the resources that you need. We do budgeting and financial counseling. So that's where it begins, is with a phone call, and then we invite you in to a personal interview.
To a personal interview.
Mm-hmm.
And so once the interview takes place, this is for the families, right? They get interviewed. Right. You get to assess kind of their need and what has to happen next, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a look at something else that we have for you today, for our guest today.
He had PTSD and other problems, and the violence became too
unbearable?
Yeah.
I feel, we were better off, homeless than going through that.
We go to a park, in a parking lot, and just sit there. I was so worried and afraid. And she said, I found a place called Family Promise in Irving. And she said, would you be interested in going there? And she gave me the address, and we were on our way. I never forget the relief.
I don't think there's any good adjective to put to the experience.
Everybody has a different story. There's some common themes, but everybody's personal stories are different. The host churches provide a private space in their building for each family, and that could be a Sunday school room that they take out the Sunday school stuff and put in our rollaway beds and lamps and rugs. So it is a home-like environment for their families. Volunteers from that church provide the nighttime meal, hot meal, and hang out with the families and do homework or crafts, or just interact with the families.
It wasn't just having a bed. The churches, the people, they went out of their way for us as if we were their family, and they had just welcomed us home.
I believe in Family Promise because I've seen the success stories, I've heard the success stories, I've had families,
come to me afterwards saying that it was a great service for them. It really helped them. It changed their lives.
Going from homelessness to having a roof over our heads again, where, you know, it was safe. You know, nothing could have happened. I felt no need to worry about what was going to happen next.
Family Promise became that home, that family that I desperately needed and that I wanted Grady to be around.
My hope for Family Promise of Irving is that we can get more churches involved and that we can continue our partnership with the community at large, because we do work closely with other nonprofits, with the school district, with businesses, with churches. It's a situation that affects everybody.
It must be so heart-wrenching and difficult to interview these families and hear some of these stories of just the heartache and the pain that they're going through. It's also wonderful that you're able to provide them a safe place. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
It is amazing to me, a learning experience every day to realize what these challenges the families have. When they come into our program the first night, they're apprehensive. They don't know why we're doing what they're doing. They don't know what to expect. But after that first night in the church, and they experience the love and encouragement and hope that the volunteers from that church bring, you can literally see the tension released from their body, and they think, okay, this is going to be all right. And, you know, we give them a sense of hope and a sense of safety for a little while where they can actually think about what it is they need to do next. When you're in a sense of crisis, you know, you're just living like you're running downhill. This gives them a time to relax and to breathe, and a chance for us to love on them.
Yes, definitely. We can hear in the video the sense of relief.
Right.
You know, I feel safe. I don't have to worry. And just thinking about constantly living in a state of worry and angst. And now they can just breathe, like you said, and just, okay, now I can think straight because I'm not in survival mode.
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so I think it's a beautiful service. I'm so glad that you're there. It's great to hear that churches locally are partnering, and they can also contact you the same way through the website.
Yes, we really do need to get more churches involved and more volunteers. So the same process, give us a call, go on our website, and let's just have a conversation, you know, what's going on with your church? How can we partner together?
It's beautiful to see our community being the hands and feet of Christ.
It is.
Thank you to Family Promise for what you're doing. Thank you, Terry, for your heart for the community. And thank you all for watching us here at Joy in Our Town.